downtown. They do the soup
No,
bowl,
the
the
students
soup
are gonna.
kitchen.
Yeah, the
We
students.
make the bowls for
I
the
know.
soup
I
kitchen.
have
They
a-
sell the bowls.
I have a few of those.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to have them. And you know, some of these other community events that we're doing, like the Screen on the Green, the first night, Bradley had, the art gallery came and taught the children how to make, skeletons with Q-tips and,
Oh, my
and they had a face, painter, and they had a clown, not a clown, but a guy that made, animals out of balloons and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't do, he kind of did that in the beginning to try to get people to come, but now we realize we don't really need to do a lot of that to get people to come, they're coming.
Yeah, the night is gonna be great this Saturday night. Let me see if I can bring my grandchild.
Okay.
I live on the other side. I live on the other side of
That's okay,
of airport.
that would be great.
Okay, the area that's next to the museum,
Yeah,
you know, it's a, I don't know if you know it, you know, there is a history trail over there.
yes,
Okay, my history, I can't remember which class it was, but we've been doing, and I know she's been doing it, a couple of classes, we have to do a proposal to change that area because it's not appealing.
right,
Nobody knows it's there, nobody wants to walk that trail.
right.
Because it's like a really wooded area. So that's another one. I mean, she sent us there to do the project, and you know, we look like you're not gonna walk this because you gotta walk it through gravel.
Right.
So why not do something in that area? Because it's included in the Spring Hill area too. I mean,
Well, we've just got our hands full.
well,
But I'll tell you who you need to talk to is Deborah Velders, who is the director for the Art Museum, is really, she's who we're working with to try to incorporate the whole area. She is really trying to improve that area.
So you should bring those
that
projects to
class,
her.
that project for the students, we had to come up with cost-effective ways to redo that area. To where that it didn't have to be cleaned or maintained on a regular basis
Yeah.
or every week
I know
or
about
once a
that.
month. So we've had to come up with different signage to draw people over there. I know this is a class project that she makes every class do, and
Really?
everybody goes over there and say the same thing. You know, we have to come up with the funding
Mhm.
of how we're gonna get the funding because nobody has the money because whoever
Right.
originally did it on their own. Nobody contributed to it. So we have to come up with the funding. We have to come up with the material used. We have to come up with who's going to put it out, who's going to clean it up. So, I mean,
Well, you have to tell your teacher that you should go to
That
the
don't take her
museum.
anymore.
Oh,
Did you end up doing anything with it, or you just had to give those proposals?
you
not
have to
really
do the
anything?
proposal, but if you wanted to take it further, see, we
You
didn't
had the
know.
opportunity, but you didn't.
Yeah, we didn't know of anybody who to take it to.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
who's your teacher?
Yeah, 'cause
Let me
I
know.
wouldn't even think, I would
Can't
think
remember what her
these
name is.
cities
I
and
have to look on
towns
my
are
email.
doing this on their own. I wouldn't think that people have to come out and do this.
Well, they're
I just-
basics, they should be basic city services, like you're saying, that park is just not very well kept.
well, we knew we couldn't use it as a city service because we knew the city already didn't have any money,
They don't
so
have
we
any.
couldn't fund it through the city.
The
You know
city
that.
really, I mean, I've been to the city so many times in the beginning, just trying to get, you know, we'll do it, give us some
Yeah.
assistance, and they really, you know, we just landed on deaf ears. They just don't have the money and they're not interested in. if
Well, they
do
have the money, but they
they're
want,
not
they wanna
interested
spend it
in
on
doing
things they want, or
Maybe-
Well,
people,
exactly.
people that have, you know, that know more people.
What trail
than
are you
Exactly.
talking about?
It's
Is it down
just-
by the
it's
lake?
ridiculous.
But they just
It's on the
want,
back part.
it's just
by
not a
the-
priority.
On the side
I
of the
guess would be a
museum.
better way to say
Okay,
it.
but it
Just
runs
Would you
not-
along
like
the lake
some
right
juice?
there, but you have to go around the line of trees.
I think
But
so.
yeah, that's,
Down, yeah, we put.
But it
one
is,
in,
you
it's
know,
got
so
the
you-
plaques.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
just,
But nobody
part
knows
of what
it's
the
there.
city
Yeah.
will tell you is that
And the plaques.
you can't expect the city to do everything for a community. I mean, this era of the government can take care of everything that we do.
can't.
They can't
That's why
do it.
you're studying a lot of community organizations that are taking over projects.
but our cities do this up north. We don't have community projects like this. The cities and
Oh,
towns.
no, you
do
do.
this.
You do, because Mystic,
We
Rhode
have-
Island,
we have
all
all
those
this-
were community projects. They were not city projects. When you go to Mystic or you go to any of those places in Boston, they were not city projects. They were historic preservation
It
projects.
looks more like
and
what
those are community
downtown
projects.
should look like.
And I tell you, I am
Evolved.
getting more and
Evolved.
more
Cities
requests
evolved.
from people all over the city to come and talk to them about how to start up.
It's too bad
something
you
in their
couldn't do
community.
something to combine all of these so that every community in Mobile is
Well,
affected.
you know, one of the things that's happening is that when we accept development, for instance,
We saw
the old communities
downtown.
were buildings and houses around a plaza, which was a common gathering place. Now you build all these apartment complexes, and the gathering place is the parking lot,
Well, you
and there's no interaction
You've lost
there.
the and that's what we're trying
There's
to
no community.
rebuild. You know, the pedestrian element, the community element, where people feel a part of
Well,
the
like they did
sidewalks, all of
downtown.
these events. I mean, that's
Right, we
why.
went to the downtown
But that's also a
Alliance.
community.
Right, that's, yeah, but it's
Exactly.
too bad that they can't all.
But did you notice that it was very similar? We had the merchants were suffering,
Yes,
but
uh-huh.
then the community
Yeah.
took over to
Mhm.
to help each other. As
It's
a
very, 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 very much the same.
And we were, you know, like I said, it's Sherry Pierce, who is president of the Merchants Association, is on our board. You know, we want our board to be diverse enough that it
Sure.
represents all the entities that we're affecting, or that we can have an effect, a positive effect on, so we need input. So she's our merchant representative. And then, like I said, you know, we sort of tailor our board members to our needs. You know, started getting a lot younger board members, because we were all old, and, you know, we needed input from
New
people.
ideas.
You know, and not everybody has a beach house or a, you know, whatever. There are people in the community that need to be engaged with things like Screen on the Green and the Sidewalk-a-thon, and you need free community
Those are
events
fantastic ideas.
that people can, you know, be together and form a community.
Now for that walkathon, do they have a big committee and a lot of people involved, or?
Not a lot. You know, that's the thing, is everybody thinks that we're so big. It's like, I can't tell you how many times people say, you know, like, why don't y'all just pay for the, and I'm like, I don't know where y'all pay for getting all this money. You know, we just don't have a lot of
Well,
money.
the Downtown Alliance, they've got their people, actually, their merchants pay, which was a good idea. They take care of people's vehicles, like if somebody gets a flat tire, they'll go out and
Yeah.
help them, or they lock their keys in the car,
For the
something
merchants.
like that, I
Well, you
mean.
have 300, 400 merchants downtown.
They have
See,
a
that's
bigger-
what I
a
was
bigger
gonna say.
area.
Our commercial area just could not.
It's teeny
It
tiny.
would be like taxing them, you know, and so what we do is like, we try to, it's sort of like our motto is together we can. You give a little, I give a little, you give a little, you give a little, and the project becomes viable. If I have to do everything, it's insurmountable. But if you're a property owner and you're willing to buy a couple of lights, and we can get a grant to put in all the trees, and we can get a grant or get people to donate for sidewalks, you know, we can make the project happen. So together, we can all make these things happen, where it's not a burden, a huge burden on just one person.
Who's your grant writer?
All of us. I've written grants, Thomas Myers has written grants, now Bradley Sanders is writing grants. You know, like Bradley is an attorney, and he's been writing some grants for us. He's been really keeping up with when the grants come, and I've got a lot of contacts with people who are heads of foundations. So I'll contact him and just before we ever write it, just say, you know, is there an
When
opportunity?
we visit,
for us
I
this year?
think a small hotel is needed in this area for people that come to the university or that go to the. I remember going to one of the tennis matches and somebody said, because my cousin brought his team from North Carolina, and he says, where can we eat? And we had to go all the way to Airport Boulevard because, you know, it was.
And even the restaurants.
Well, I
ain't that
shouldn't
good.
tell y'all this, but I'm telling you, the best kept secret, well, there are two new things. Best kept secret in Spring Hill for food, in my opinion, is Martha Rutledge's. She serves lunch, and it
She
is
served the,
fabulous.
yeah, she's a good
And
cook.
you don't know that
I did
it's,
not know that. If I walk past there, I'm like, oh, I think it's catering, and you can't just go in and buy.
everybody thinks it's catering, but the gray building
I've never
next
seen
door
it.
to the catering building is, you can go in and get casseroles, frozen stuff and everything for dinner, but they serve lunch every day, and if you get on her website, she will send you what she's serving every week,
That day,
and it's like every day I wanna go eat there.
Right.
And then there's another place called Bake My Day,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
thought it was only cookies. I don't eat cookies, I try not to eat cookies, and I don't eat cakes and stuff like
They're
that.
really good. I Facebooked them. They're
Well, not
So I
only
get
are
their-
cakes
their
and
menu.
cookies really good, the food is good. She's got
Where are
excellent
they?
chicken salad.
Uh-huh.
She's right next to the substation.
Already.
It used to be, was it a hair salon or?
I think so.
Think-
No, the hair salon's next door.
Okay.
I can't
What's the
remember.
substation? Oh, that,
Is
that
it
power.
teeny tiny?
yeah.
It's teeny tiny.
But they have jambalaya and they have, I mean, they have really good pickup kind of food.
And so you're talking about the sidewalks bringing people. I live in West Mobile. My dentist is Dr. Martin. And so when we go with I have two smaller kids, and we'll go to Libretta Park, and then we walk to
Well, you
Dr.
should come
Martin.
to Screen on the Green Saturday night.
I might do that.
You know?
I didn't know it existed, but
Well,
now
I
do.
mean, we've just kind of started it, and we really, you know, we can't advertise because we're not going to spend money
No,
on
you
advertising.
can't, no.
So,
Then you have.
But if you get on, if you can go on our website, and anybody can sign to get our emails. You
Or
just
the
go on our
Facebook
website
can-
and say, sign me
Did
up.
they ever put it in the community
Facebook
events?
has events, you can put an
Bay
event
weekend?
on.
I
We do. We
want to
do
ask
put it
you
on
to
Facebook.
log into the website and see, because it's amazing. You can see all the minutes and a lot of the things that they had to do and the news. Oh, we got this approved. It's really
We
cool.
still, we get the newspaper a whole 3 times a week as it is
I
now,
know.
but we do go through it and I look at events and stuff, so I didn't know if they advertise in there.
It was advertised in like Mobile Bay Monthly. I can't remember. He got it in a lot. It was advertised in the paper. I don't remember. I don't know when, but it was advertised in a lot of different venues. I think Lanyap. You know,
Mhm.
it's so hard nowadays without the paper coming out every
Every day.
day
Right.
to kind of figure out
And
how to
it's
get
so
the word
free.
out. It's all Facebook and email
Yes.
and you know
Sure.
that kind
That's,
of stuff.
if I find a company or anything that I like, it's automatic. You go to Facebook and they've almost
Yeah,
always got a
Facebook.
page. And that's, like my husband said something the other day about friends. I was like, I have 100 and something friends, but most of them are just vendors and things in Mobile and coupon signs and whatnot. So that's what I look. If it's I look on there for my advertising, for my sales, for my events, for everything.
Well, like just before I came, the girl that kind of posts things on Facebook, she said, "Can I put on Facebook that the grant for the sidewalks has been approved by the city council and signed by the mayor and is now in Montgomery for approval, and we hope to start construction in the spring?" And I said, "Yeah." Another thing too is, especially when we have our newsletters coming out, you know, we don't want this to be old news too, so we want to be careful.
Right.
I mean, we want, you know, this to be kind of exciting since we only do it once a year. This newsletter costs $5,000. It goes to, it costs $3,000. It goes to 5,000 households. Within, what we do is we send it to a company that identifies our area by zip code, our boundaries, and they have a list of every single name of the person within our boundaries, and we mass mail it. And it's the only print publication that we do. We don't do any other print publication. That's it.
Another question I had was, when you talk about fundraising and the children going out and raising money, do you put on a fundraising event for the community to raise money for things? Or do you just send out, like you were talking about, sending
Usually-
out flyers and things?
Usually we don't. You know, it's so much effort for a little bit of money.
Yeah.
You might get $500.
Mm.
And I can literally pick up the phone and call somebody that I know and say, "Is there any way you can give me I need $500. Can you give me $100? It's, and particularly if sidewalks are going in front of their house. I mean, I don't just call my friends and say, "Hey, give me $20.
Right.
You know, it has to be something that means something to them. You know, that they feel sort of either not necessarily an obligation, but an interest in helping. You know, and I wouldn't ask somebody that couldn't afford to give me
Right.
money. I mean, I would never, before I started this, my big thing, like when my kids were in school, I was the paper products mom. I said, don't volunteer me to bake anything. I don't bake. I don't even know refined sugar. I can buy cupcakes, but I'm not baking them. And I'm not asking anybody for money. I am the paper products mom. I can provide napkins, paper towels, plastic forks, plastic plates. I'm the paper products mom. So it got to be funny. My kids went to St. Ignatius, and they said, and my kids, when they get to school, they go, "My mom will bring 5 cakes." They go, "No, she won't. Your mom's a paper products mom." So, you know, we just found that it's it's just easier maybe to go through, because we need lots of money. I mean, it's hard for me to go up to somebody and say, will you give me $3,500 for a bench?
Right.
Unless I can put a plaque on it that says in memory of, and we do that a lot. And then for trees, you have to find, there are a lot of tree huggers. I mean, I'm a tree hugger. I love trees. I mean, we've planted 288 trees in 8 years. I mean, that's a lot of trees, and I've dug holes for many of them. And I limbed up all the ones down Old Shell Road this past year. The guy that owns Keep Moby Beautiful came up to me, he says, oh my gosh, he said, I was driving down Old Shell Road and I saw you limbing up the trees on the side of the road, and I said, well, I didn't want the city ruining my trees. And I tell everybody, I said, talk about my biography, when I die, they're gonna put a tombstone and it's gonna say she was a streetwalker. When I first started this, I used to go out on the street, and this is no joke, I used to go out on the street looking and measuring and figuring, and how tall should the lights be, and where would the sidewalks go, and where do you plant trees, and how do you get rid of this, and just constantly studying and figuring, and I would walk and walk and walk and walk, and my friends would stop all the time and say, Linda, are you okay? Did your car break down? Do you need a ride? Can I take you somewhere? I said, no, I'm walking. Why are you walking? Why would you walk? Who walks? No one walks. You know, and people would say, I try to convince the people that had food to put tables and chairs out so that people could eat outside. Nobody eats outside. It's hot in Mobile. Who would eat outside? Nobody eats outside. The first time, and Reggie Copeland, I love Reggie Copeland, but we got off to kind of a rocky start, and he'll tell you that too. And I'll never forget the meeting that I first went into with him about our sidewalks that were in his district, the first sidewalks that we put up. And I used to always try to go in all my meetings with a man, because, you know, say what you will, it just came across better if it was me and a professional accountant or a banker or an attorney or something like that. So I used to always go on my meetings with at least one man. So I'd have to say, I gotta get my man to go with me. But anyway, so Mike Thompson, who owns a CPA firm, who was on our board, went with me to meet with Reggie about these sidewalks. And I told him what we wanted to do. And of course, everybody, a lot of people, naysayers in the community would look at me and say, you cannot get sidewalks on Old Shell Road. You can't do it. It can't be done. And I'd say, you just watch me. So we would go to Reggie Copeland, and I started telling him about these great and wonderful sidewalks that we were going to put in his district on the south side of Old Shell Road. And he looked at me, he leaned in, he looked at me, he said, I can't support that. Sidewalks are dangerous. Well, I started laughing because I thought he was joking. And then I realized he was not joking at all. And he said that sidewalks encouraged people to walk on the street where cars were, and they might get hit. But since then, Reggie has come way around. And he loves me, and I love him, and he loves those sidewalks that we put in his district.
Sidewalks encourage people to walk on the street,
But you know,
but dirt and
I'm not saying,
ant piles
I'm not saying, that's what I told him. I said, but they're walking and they're going over tree roots, and I'm not saying anything bad about Reggie. It's just that, just like my friends trying to pick me up in the car because I was walking, it was a mindset. And now I'm telling you what, you go sit out there and park in somebody's parking lot and look at those sidewalks any time of day, late, early, doesn't matter what day it is, they are packed with people, packed with people. Sidewalks are not the most glamorous thing that we do, but I think that it transforms a community more than any other project that you can do. I think they are the best thing that you can do for a
But
community.
it's a lot of communities now trying to install sidewalks
There's no money.
because they don't want folks walking in the street.
Exactly.
I'm still confused. I mean, I got the crickets over my head, but without the sidewalk, you are walking in the street where
Exactly.
cars are.
Exactly. And you know, you think about in Spring Hill, not so much. It is a community that people use sidewalks mostly for recreation. They're not using it to get to their jobs or get to their schools or get to their churches in particular. They mostly have cars that they can go to church or go to school. But there are a lot of communities where that is their only means of travel within communities in the city of Mobile. They need sidewalks to get to school, to get to church, to get to work, to ride their bikes, to get to a job. And it's really, you know, like I said, I think sidewalks, regardless of what community you live in, I think they transform a community more than anything. And I think that it's a shame that sidewalks aren't in every single community, and I don't mean neighborhoods, per se, but really in a community. I think they should be. I mean, I tell all the politicians when I meet with them, if I was running for anything, I would put in sidewalks. When we install sidewalks, I can't go anywhere. I can't go to the grocery store.
First time I heard her, she was talking about the sidewalks.
I mean, they're not the most glamorous project. I mean, you lay sidewalks and everybody loves them, but you think, okay, how many more feet of concrete can I? But, pocket parks are much more fun.
Yeah.
They're not easy, but
No,
they're
but that's
fun.
a great idea. I never even would have thought of something like
Use
that.
the
That's
space,
awesome.
I mean,
Well, you
this is,
saw the
Yeah.
space,
Yeah.
what it looked like and what it transformed
you
into.
can
Yeah.
use it.
And I'm telling you, that pocket park was extremely difficult because to get someone to allow you to use their land to build something on it, well, just the liability issues. Who is responsible for cleaning up? What if somebody gets hurt? Somebody's got to have insurance. We had to get additional insurance, liability insurance, our
Really?
organization, in order to convince them to do it. Then it's not locally owned. It's corporate owned in Montgomery. So,
Oh.
in Birmingham, excuse me. So trying to convince some corporate entity in Birmingham that you want to build a park in a community in Mobile on their property for people to use is not an easy feat.
Well,
When
other
you
than
get
that,
in-
it's waste of
You are
space.
something else.
When you get
Why not
into-
donate it back?
You get into a tremendous amount of legal issues. And we had an attorney, Brian Thames, who's worked with me from the very beginning, who sort of did all the paperwork for the beginning of the organization. And he was a champion because, attorneys can make $150, $200, $300 an hour. Their time is money. And so for someone who charges by the hour, like an accountant or an attorney or somebody like that, who charges by the hour, to dedicate the amount of time that they do to make projects like this pocket park come to fruition, it's humbling to work with people like that. I've worked with several people who have had cancer on my board, who have worked through their cancer and actually died while they've been on my board.
Oh, that's
And I think that when time is of the essence and so precious to you, and you're still willing to donate any amount of time to a project like this, I think that's very humbling to me. My vice president, Sissy Hunkford, has had ovarian cancer for the last 3 years. She's been battling ovarian cancer, and she continues to work with me through these projects and things, and I just don't know if I would have the same fortitude.
Now, you're getting homeowners to donate actually some of their property to
No,
put
it's all
them.
on city right away.
It's all on this, because the city owns it for so many feet anyways, okay.
But getting sidewalks on city right away is harder probably than getting on.
Getting it from people.
Yeah.
Did you, the pocket parks, some of the paveways, the bricks, did you get, the community to donate or?
No, I mean, I know they've done that in Fairhope, but like I said, if you gave me $50 a brick, it would take me 2 years to get $85,000 for that park. And it's easier for me to go after a $50,000 grant or a $25,000 grant or send a mass mailing out
Can
to
you
the community.
will Lowe's match you for some of that, or any
I
of
mean,
those
all
kind of
of that's
places?
possible, it just takes the time.
It's just stuff that you haven't done any of that, then to try to get.
But our newsletter, typically will generate between about $15,000.
That was my next question.
And then
Oh, they,
we say it's time to renew.
oh, okay, I
And
gotcha.
so everybody joins, and we have, different levels to join.
Oh, okay, I didn't even see that.
And it'll generate about
Did you see it?
$15,000.
That's good.
And then what we've started doing is in January, we send out a card that says it's time to renew again. And the first time we did that was last year, and it generated about $8,000.
You
So,
see, the website right now has the logo, and it has spider webs and all kinds of things.
Oh, she put the Halloween
I
stuff.
don't have that with me. I'm telling you.
I know you're 2 years are way up. Are you training somebody else? Or I know you allowing
Please come
the,
take my place.
I know you're allowing younger people on the board. So are you giving them ideas or
Whoever gets
so you
honored.
can train, the next person?
Our organization is self-perpetuating, which means that it's supposed to perpetuate forever and ever and ever. It's set up with a board that rotates. It's set up to be like any other board of any other organization, any corporation or whatever. So it's set up to be perpetual. But no, I have not found anybody that wants to take my job yet. But if anyone would like to take my job, that would be great, because I do a lot of things that I could let a president do, and I could work on specific projects
Well,
like this.
it doesn't seem like you're ready to give it up, but are you training somebody else to?
You know, it's really hard. You know, it's easier said than done.
Mentoring and
It's-
and
I think there
mentoring.
are a lot of people on my board. People come and go with different talents. And I think that when people serve, it's a 3-year commitment on our board. And at the end of 3 years, most of the people don't want to get off, because it's so energizing and so fun. And when we have board meetings and they know about projects and things that we're going after, it's exciting to just, like you were saying with Mobile United, to just kind of have your thumb on the pulse a little bit about what's going on.
Would you be interested in mentoring people so that they can go out on after and create their own little project that they want to do, like learn from you how you've done things and
Like in
just,
other communities?
How to
Yeah,
start other
yeah.
I
organizations?
do that.
like a
In fact, I
mentor.
just got an email from somebody today. I'm gonna go speak with her group. We just spoke with another group that's at, Highway 90 area. I mean, I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm looking at more of a mentor, like a person that would like to create their own group to work in their community. Not really somebody that has a group and go out and speak. I'm talking about really mentoring someone that, you know, hey,
You know,
We're
I
gonna go
would,
do
I would be
this.
glad, we've done it, we've gone in and we've told them kind of how we did it. But for me to donate my time to try to make your group go, I'm already
you
doing
know,
this.
somebody shadowing and helping you and you explaining on the way it goes. I guess I'm not really. I guess that would.
It's a lot of job to mentor somebody else. I know, because I'm still mentoring some people, and it takes time too. But this is for somebody that came into this project without wanting to. You certainly are very passionate.
Well,
and
you know,
committed.
I love what I do, and I think that I personally have made a tremendous difference, and it's been very fulfilling
Sure.
for me. But I've also had just exceptional people who have been willing to work with me. You know, it takes more than just me to do, as you know, to do anything. And there have been so many people like Hap Myers who got that grant. You know, I've made so many wonderful connections with people that, and people want to help. I mean, anytime you have an effort like this and it's visual and people see it and you're proven, I mean, we've proven that we're able to take projects and bring them to fruition under budget in a timely manner, people are willing to invest in that.
Yeah, that's
They
important.
know, they can see where their money's going. It's
That's
not like
very
I'm not going out and saying, will you give me some money for this organization that I've started?
Sure.
I'm saying, we're building this park, and it's gonna cost $85,000, and we have seed money for $25,000. And we're selling the benches for this, we're selling the lighting for this, we've gotten a tree grant to put the trees in, and I've got the engineering donated, this, that, and the other. Can you help fund half the pavers, or, you know, just something like that? And,
And
But
you
see,
are,
that's
you
something
know,
that's
I know it's
just-
difficult, and it's been a lot of work. I don't know how you have done it. It helps that you're in an affluent community, and people are willing to.
it does, but you know, at first, I think in any community, until you're proven, even people that have some money, they're not gonna just give you money because they have it. And in a community that would not be affluent, there are lots of other grant opportunities that
Yeah,
we
you don't have.
cannot get, you know. There are many grant opportunities for other communities that, a lot of them, that I wish I had. Because, and unfortunately, people get them and they don't do these type of things with them. You know, they don't do projects that benefit the community as a whole. If
Now,
I
I
had
can-
access to that kind of money,
I can see you putting a business just as a consultant to do that.
what now?
As a consultant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
consultant.
that's not something that I would walk out and know how to do. And you know how to do, so if, not myself, but say somebody like me wanted to help you and walk with you and maybe pass out the flyers or go to your meetings and just listen and, you know, it's not, I don't think it's anything you have to do other than just let me follow you.
See,
But I
from-
mean, it's not something you know, you
See,
just
for
go.
me, it would be more like, I don't wanna be at the top. I would never want to be in your position,
either.
but I will be one of the ones that I will assist you. I'll do everything it is that I come up with my ideas, but I don't want to be at the top.
Well, you know, there are a lot of people that feel that way, and that's why you were asking about somebody that wanted to take my job. There are a lot of people that are like, I'll help, but I don't
I'll
want
help.
to. You know, what I do is not for everybody, and it is very political. I mean, very political.
So no perspectives, no possibilities.
I have some people on my board that I think would definitely be able to step into the position that can work. You have to be able to work well with politicians. I mean, you have to be the type of person that can work across the board with a lot of different people. You have to have really good negotiating skills. You have to be very patient. And that is not one of my virtues, but I've learned it. The girl that I work with, who I love, and we are such an odd couple because she's about 70-something years old. We are
She just called her
polar.
girl. You
We are polar opposites. I mean,
Is this the one that helps you with all this stuff?
I'm high strung. She's real low key. You know, she never had any children. I have 3 children. My kids are, you know, traveling the world. You know, crazy, whatever.
But
And
that's the other thing. You don't have any kids to use this stuff, so it's kind of funny that this is interesting to you now.
well, it's my
or-
community.
But
But
it's
actually,
still,
my son just did buy a house in the community, which I'm so excited because I will have somebody that will want to use it.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted
But
to
what I
continue
tell
her
people
legacy.
about Sissy is, I say, you know, when we started, you know, and I talk to her almost every day, and she's battling cancer, and
Is that the lady?
I talk to her almost every day. I haven't talked to her in 4 days, which is very unusual, but I've had the craziest 4 days, also building a house somewhere else. But anyway, I like to tell everybody that she taught me how to pay just exquisite attention to detail, just extreme attention to detail. And also to be very, very patient, which is not in my nature. And I taught her how to drink and cuss more.
That's
a crazy little thing. That's what I'm saying.
Now, does she proofread all of this too? Because I
We
know
have,
what a chore
you know,
that
I
is.
have, she was not nearly as involved in this one because she was going through chemo, and I have another lady who's in her 70s, or maybe late 60s. And she should have been she was a school teacher, but she taught math. She should have taught English because she corrects your emails when they
Oh, no.
And I love her, and she's crazy, crazy, crazy. And if she came in here, you die. I didn't want her on the board because I said she'd drive me crazy. I just can't have her. But she has been a godsend, and she's just wonderful. And the way this is a process in itself. And what we do is we have an initial meeting. The girl that does the layout, and 2 or 3 of us that are going to write the articles. And we decide, like, where's my new one?
We already got that hit.
All right, show me that one.
That's
Okay,
a
so
lot of work.
so for instance, we decide what is our biggest achievement for this year?
Mhm.
Well, it was this grant because it was so competitive and it was so unbelievable that we got it. And I think the city was a little miffed that we got it. We could not apply for it because we're not our own municipality. So the city had to apply for it for us. So we wrote it, we did everything, all they had to do was submit it. And they had grants of themselves from the city that they submitted that they did not get. They did eventually higher up get grants from a different, but this particular grant, we were in competition with them and we got it and they didn't. So you can imagine how that went over.
I know that.
And I've asked them to apply for another grant for us and they graciously agreed, so that's good. But so anyway, that was our big thing. And I was so intricately involved in this that I wrote this article. So I write the original article, and then Kimmy will doctor it up and tell me I said this wrong, and this is a run-on sentence, and this would sound better this way, and then we send it to Sissy. And then Sissy reads it and she puts her input, I think this is not clear, you know, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes our husbands read it, you know, just whatever. We want it to be clear.
Right.
And so we let a lot of different people read it and touch it and feel it. So then, okay, that's fine. And so what we do is we decide what articles are going in it, what colors do we want, how do we want it laid out. And then everybody we assign an article to each person. And then when that person, and then we have a timeline. We say your articles are due to be proofread by, you know, whatever date it is.
And you have the
September.
layout always, so many articles in.
Well, we
Sorry.
send poor Carolyn everything that we want in it, and somehow she figures out how to make it work. And like, we usually have this one, I think, let's see. All right, see, I insisted that we go to, I have another one that I didn't bring. We typically keep this, just like everything else, you know. People see this and they know this is the same format that we use all the time. Well, I insisted in 2 newsletters that we go to a larger picture because we had this picture, and when we did something else, we went to a full thing like this, and she did not want to do it because it deviated from this standard. So this time, we went back to that. I take a lot of the pictures myself. I mean, I took this picture, I took this picture, I took a lot of these pictures. We have a professional photographer that volunteers his time, and I hardly call him anymore, but if I want some special, he didn't take that picture. But I just carry my camera around, and it's an okay camera, it's not, you know, it takes, digitally it's okay for print.
Digital, everything's good.
And I just take pictures of all of our events. I've been going to Screen on the Green and taking pictures of that, and we put it in a file, and we'll use that on Facebook or something.
The mission statement.
Mhm.
I know the Downtown Alliance said that they had to change their mission statement after so many years or once they completed so many projects. Are you in the process of creating a new one, or?
Well, you know, this meeting that we're gonna have that incorporates the whole park area, we're gonna see how that comes. And we actually are having Carol Hunter, who works for the Downtown Alliance, that spoke to y'all.
Okay.
I was actually involved, or had been asked to come to a meeting when they were sort of reorganizing that organization. They renamed it, they redid the mission statement, they incorporated the merchants into it. We're kind of at that stage now.
Okay.
So I can't say no, we're not. I can't say yes, we are. I hope we're not changing a whole lot of other stuff because I don't have time to change. You know, it seems to, our mission statement really embodies what our plan is designed to do.
Okay.
And as long as I'm doing it, I am gonna always follow the directive of that plan. Unless we have $300,000 to get a new plan to incorporate other areas. The Botanical Gardens has got their own plan. I think the Art Museum has got their own plan. You know, that's not to say that those plans can't be incorporated into what we're doing, but I think that's just too big for us. It's just, it would be too overwhelming for me to get the girl that does all this for me to go promote the Botanical Gardens and the Art Gallery and the Pixie Playhouse and the tennis center.
What's a Pixie Playhouse?
It's a little
That's the name
children's
of
theater.
Oh, how cute.
Well, this has been fantastic. It has been really eye-opening, and I encourage all of you to drive by, because I do
Yeah.
drive by all the
I
time.
do, I was
and
just there last week, and I never even would have thought. I thought that was just done.
Well, everybody thinks the city does it. I said, everybody thinks, wow, look at what the city's doing with, and, you know,
so
so we,
are you meeting with the new owners of the supermarket to see if they change a little bit the facade?
we're,
and make it a little-
we're trying to set, Sherry is trying to set up a meeting with them. We're gonna try to get them to put in the lighting, we put in the trees, and we're gonna propose that. You know, they're coming in, what the heck, you know, we're just trying to
Well,
get them.
3,500 is
sense.
nothing, right?
At least let them know, you know, what's going on in the area, and that if they wanted to put in the lighting, the trees are already in place, and it would be, if they want to really embody themselves in the community, that would be a wonderful
they
thing
had
to
already-
do.
And they
Follow
can't
the
put in any
bankruptcy.
gaudy buildings and big gross signs.
Well, one of the things that we just did first for the village, I mean, these are things that we do that no one knows about, that takes up a tremendous amount of time. We were fighting digital signs in Spring Hill left and right. Everybody wants a digital sign. I mean, some people love them, some people hate them. We hate them. They are totally and completely counterproductive to our plan. Signs that are small in stature, low, you know, more community-oriented, neighborhood-oriented, are more applicable to what our community wants. We don't want big digital signs that say Charmin $5 a roll, or Pampers, whatever.
You gotta think about this, the community don't want the power line up there, so
We
you
don't
don't have
want-
big
You know, I'm
poles.
from Cape Cod, so we didn't want a McDonald's with the big arches. So
Yeah. So you
your
understand.
McDonald's has to look like a shingled house, rustic, just like any other house you'd see on Cape Cod, and it has to have a small sign that says McDonald's on it.
See, you understand that.
Yeah, I do understand
Well,
that. That's
we
why I
were
didn't go
fighting
into
digital
that.
signs left and right. I was spending so much of my time trying to prevent digital signs, so we said, you know, this is crazy. I hate being reactive. You know, that's never fun. Let's be proactive. So we have
So
the
that's in the
ordinances.
code.
It was part of our code.
See, yeah.
I said, let's take that part of our code and write it so that it's not site-specific to the village of Spring Hill. It would be road-specific to two-lane roads. and let's see if we can't get it passed as mandatory for Spring Hill. So we started it through the process, we wrote it, consulted with our planners, we wrote it, started it through the city planning process, and the urban development department contacted me and said, would you consider pulling your application and letting us submit something citywide, and you support it? I said, okay. I said, but if you compromise the ordinance down to the point that it doesn't work for us, we're still gonna go after something that's more structured for Spring Hill. So we actually wrote and promoted digital sign restrictions for the entire city of Mobile and took it through the planning process and got it passed.
Okay.
So they're not allowed in Spring Hill except for where 4-lane roads are. So they'd be allowed in Spring, and they cannot be within a 300 buffer of any residential area. So that took care of that. So now I can spend my time.
So many
Yeah,
moving
because
parts.
when you got people
Okay.
that come in to see something, they don't wanna see.
Okay,
They
this
wanna
is like
see
some
the-
of the CVS's have the digital signs,
We
so that
bought that.
particular digital, okay.
It does not have one.
Yeah,
We
no, this
bought it.
one's a pretty one, you can see it
Yeah.
fits right into the
Gosh,
community.
the sign's in here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Sign's in here. That was the biggest sticking point with our, I say negotiations with CVS. They were very, very contentious at times. I don't have the one that is on there, but, the biggest thing that they wanted, I don't have it, I have another thing. The biggest thing that they wanted was that digital sign. And we had enacted a moratorium on building permits in the city of Mobile, and
Yeah,
they
that's when
couldn't
you
build
stopped
a
it.
building permit until we let them release it. Or it played out in 6 months, and they wanted to build that CVS. And we wouldn't support them in it if they didn't give up their position on digital signs. And so it came down to the 11th hour. I mean, I was going in the city council meeting to tell them that we were not going to pull the moratorium. And Gina Gregory, our council member, called. I turned my phone off. We were going back and forth, back and forth. I was so stressed out. I was drinking wine that night. And I said, just take me to get some dinner. Just take me to get some dinner. I just got to get out of here. I'm turning my phones off. It is what it is. We're just not going to support pulling the moratorium. We're not going to have digital signs in Spring Hill. And it was according to our coding, and we consulted with our planners. It's not me saying, I don't want them, I don't like them, you know, we're consulting with our planners. And the planners say, absolutely no. That is
Wanna
the
keep it
drop
quaint.
dead issue, no. No digital signs. So we said, okay, they're advising us no. So I turned off my phone, never answer my home phone. Do not even look me up in the phone book, and I don't think I've checked my messages for 3 months. And for some reason, when we got back, my phone was ringing. It was like 9:30 at night, and I picked it up for some reason. It was Gina. She says, where have you been? I've been trying to call you on your cell phone. And I said, I turned it off. I'm sick of this. I just can't handle this anymore. She says, well, CVS has given in. They will not put a digital sign up if you'll pull the moratorium. So we had to be at this developer's office at 7:30 in the morning
Strong
and
arm
completely redo our thing before the city council meeting. And I was rushing in there, and we were signing this, and my husband was doing a lot of the negotiation. He was my man that I took in for these negotiations because he was a good negotiator. And so
He's a good
he
man.
was my man at that point because nobody knew me but him, because this was the very beginning. And I said, will you please help me? I can't do this by myself. And so he did it. He was just wonderful. And he pulled me out of bed at 6 o'clock and said, get dressed. We're going down to his office. I said, we can't just walk in somebody's office at 7:30 in the morning. He said, get dressed. So we went down there at 7:30 and waited for him to come in and say, we're pulling the moratorium. We've got to redo the thing before the city council meeting at 9:30. So from 7:30 to 9:30, we sat around their boardroom table and came up with an agreement, and finally signed the agreement and took it to the city council that morning, and they pulled their agreement, their demand to put up a digital sign. So there were no digital signs in Spring Hill, except the dentist next to LLBB. That was one of the battles that we lost. And we went up to him, and this was one of those reactive things where I went in and said, I didn't go in, I sent some people that knew him in and said, you know, we don't want digital signs in Spring Hill, and we understand that you pulled a permit for one, and we'd like you to reconsider. It's against our plan, and it's not gonna be favorable among the residents and you want to do business in this community, you know, you might want to reconsider.
She's strong-arming him.
But that's how you
He
have
did.
to do it.
He didn't do it. He,
And it's the only digital sign, and that's when I decided I'm going in and we're gonna get this digital sign ordinance passed, cause I am
and now
sick
he's
of this.
grandfathered in, so there's nothing you can do about it.
But he's a dentist and he's advertising Botox, and I'm just wondering how long he can be in business as a dentist advertising Botox.
That's what I'm going to be.
So I
They're
don't,
doing it, a lot of dentists are doing it.
they're doing Botox?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But anyway, and a lot of,
Maybe around the
Lips.
mouth, I don't know.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I know that your time is precious, but I
Well,
think
thank you
it's
for asking.
been fantastic.
I just hope some
thank
of
you
y'all
so
become
much.
activists in your community and, you know, will, you know, make something like this happen.
That's what
You know?
we want. We want to encourage them and give them the skills, and they'll be in the situation where they're going to get into leadership positions
And it is exciting. I mean, it's exciting
Yeah,
to,
it's very-
Sandy Stimson was just elected as mayor and he has been a consultant with me, with me for 8 years.
I think he's gonna be wonderful, actually. I
He
think
is,
he's
he
what we
lives in our
needed.
community and he understands it and he's a good businessman. Not that Sam Jones wasn't. I mean, Sam Jones was very, I don't think we could have gotten this passed without the support of Sam Jones. Now, he wasn't out there saying, I love it, you know, but when we got into trouble, he thought it was a good thing for a community in the city of Mobile, and he actually helped. And I don't think there was anything, you know, that he did wrong. I just think that Sandy kind of knows the organization from the inside out, being a consultant, and not that he doesn't have any money, and it's not like I'm gonna ask him for anything. But I think he understands maybe the ins and outs of it a little bit better than Mayor Jones did. But we met many times with Mayor Jones, and he was always very complimentary about everything that we did, and always said that he wished that other communities could do what we did. He was always very complimentary to me personally, and, you know, met with us on many occasions, and,
Well, that's why I say you'd make a good consultant or,
well, he came and spoke at most of our dedications. You know, every time we would have a dedication, he was very gracious and would come out and speak at most of the dedications. He came to the planning process, and, I mean, he was involved a lot.
Fantastic. You wanna?
I almost forgot about it. This is from our class.
Oh, how sweet!
As a thank you for
Oh
coming.
my gosh, that is so sweet. I love these.
I really enjoyed your
African violet.
presentation. It was very
I
nice.
love that. I promise I won't plant it out somewhere in Spring Hill.
If we see that under the clock.
We are about to plant flowers.
We
Should be
will
planting
know.
flowers in the next 3 weeks, but if you see that one in there, no.
Thank you.
Linda,
We really
thank
enjoyed
you
it.
so much.
Thank you for
It's been
having me. I mean, I
fantastic.
am passionate about what I do. I love it, and I love the people I work with, and I'm, you know, it's a good thing for any community,
Mhm.
everywhere.
Well, we're reviving this class. This class this the first time it's been taught in many, many years. So I'm doing it with a completely different perspective. And,
Good.
But I think we're doing a good job. It's a good
Good.
seminar class.
Well, thanks for listening to me for all that time.
Thank
Oh,
you,
it's
it's
a
awesome.
pleasure. It's a pleasure. And now they're gonna all go to this internet and look at the website.
Well, yeah, you know,
And there's
if you
the
drive
Facebook.
by, you know,